Okay, let me share my screen. So welcome everyone to Council of African Professionals events and programs, this week-long event to celebrate International Women's Day. We started on Sunday, March 8th, and we're still on the roll, heading all the way to tomorrow. So I would like to welcome everyone for taking the time to join us in this event. My name is Denye Meshileya. My full name, Tamuno Denye Meshileya. So I am Nigerian Canadian. My background is in human resources. I have over 20 years of experience, hands-on experience. I've been lucky to have worked in several industries and working in, also with labor unions and all of that, industrial relations. So it's been a fun ride. And I've been volunteering with previously CNP, now CAP, on a different capacity, and I'm so happy to moderate today's session. So this is our agenda for today. We will start off with the national anthem, then we'll have the land acknowledgement, both in English and in French. We will also have a welcome, an introduction. We'll get to learn a bit about CAP for those of you who it's the first time, or for those of you who have known about CAP, but you're not really sure what CAP does. You get a chance to get to know more about CAP. We'll also look at upcoming events. Then we will introduce Miss Oluwabunmi, who is our speaker for today. We'll also have a fireside chat with her. And then we get the chance to hear your questions, your comments, which will help enrich the topic more for everyone. And then we'll close up with a closing remark. So the national anthem, I'd like to call Oriofe to take the national anthem. Oriofe will take the land acknowledgement in English. Thank you.
Thank you. The Council of African Professionals acknowledges that our office in Burlington is situated upon the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. We recognize that Burlington is covered by the Treaty 14, also known as the Head of the Lake Purchase, as an organization dedicated to excellence and advancements of the African diaspora. We recognize the deep parallels between the displacement of indigenous peoples and the forced migration and systemic exclusion faced by Black communities. We honor the enduring presence of all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people, and we value their spiritual and cultural connections to this land. We also celebrate the long-standing history of Black Canadians, whose presence in Ontario dates back centuries. From the early settlers and the freedom seekers who found refuge in the region to the modern professionals of the African diaspora, Black Canadians have been integral to to the economic and social fabric of Burlington and beyond. CAP commits to the ongoing work of reconciliation and equity. We strive to build a professional future that honors the land we occupy and supports the prosperity of both Indigenous and Black communities through solidarity, justice, and mutual respect.
Thank you, very fair. We will now have the land acknowledgement in French, and I'll introduce David Olufolabi Michele.
Le Conseil de professionnels africains reconnaît que notre bureau de Burlington est situé sur le territoire traditionnel de nombreuses nations, notamment les Mississaugas de Credit, les Anishinaabes, les Chippewas, les Hottentots et les Wendat. Nous reconnaissons que Burlington est régi par le traité 14, égal, connu sous le nom d'achat de la tête du lac. En tant que coordination vouée à l'excellence et à l'avancement de la diaspora africaine, nous reconnaissons les parallèles profonds entre le déplacement des peuples autochtones et la migration forcée, ainsi que l'exclusion systémique auquel les communautés noires ont été confrontées. Nous honorons la présence durable de tous les peuples de Première Nation, des Métis et des Inuits, et nous valorisons leurs liens spirituels et culturels avec cette terre. Nous célébrons également l'histoire de longue date des Canadiens noirs, dont la présence en Ontario remonte à plusieurs siècles. Des premières colonnes et chercheuses de liberté qui ont trouvé refuge dans cette région jusqu'aux professionnels modernes de la diaspora africaine. Les Canadiens noirs ont fait partie intégrante du tissu économique et social de Burlington et d'ailleurs. Le CPA s'engage dans le travail continu de réconciliation et d'équité. Nous nous efforçons de bâtir un avenir professionnel qui honore la terre que nous occupons et soutient la prospérité des communautés autochtones et noires par la solidarité, la justice et le respect mutuel. Merci.
Merci, David. So, about CAP. Council of African Professionals was instituted to equip and support people of African heritage for sustainable growth, development, and prosperity in Canada. We're also instituted to promote holistic well-being of individuals, marriages, and families through programs and services. We came in together to enhance leadership, career, business, and professional development of members and the wider community. Also to provide mentorship, resources, and support for new immigrants, international students, and emerging professionals. They offer training on wealth management and financial empowerment to foster economic growth. They also develop programs for children and youth, showcasing role models and building future leaders. They create platforms for networking, information sharing, and professional relationships to strengthen community ties. And they foster integration and multicultural understanding while supporting local businesses and promoting social, economic, and political empowerment. So, International Women's Day week-long event. One may wonder, International Women's Day just one day? Hey, we can celebrate all year round if we want, because women show up every day. At CAP, we're having the week-long event, which started on Sunday, March 8th, and we're running it all the way to tomorrow. Those of you who have had the chance to attend from day one, you know that it is the different discussions from our key of our speakers has brought very insightful learnings, and it has triggered thoughts that are very very instructive, challenging, and reminds us of the strength that we have and how we can also be allies to other women or to other people around us. So the theme is Unshakeable: Women, Worth, and Well-being in a Pressured World. Lady Ava, Her Royal Highness Adejisola B. H. Atiba, has been hosting and moderating the event from Sunday to Wednesday, and I had the honor to take on moderation yesterday and today. And here you can see all the wonderful, beautiful women who have taken on the stage. So Ms. Oluwabunmi Bosede is our speaker for today. In a bit, I'll tell you a bit more about who she is, and then you'll also get the chance to hear her thoughts on the topic. Ms. Valeria Nelson kicked off the event on March 8th. Ms. Bayode Simpson took on the second day. Then we had Dr. Paige Afono take us also through another perspective of the topic. Ms. Christine Eroku also had the center stage with us. And yesterday we had Miss Abby Ade Quinton. Tomorrow we have Miss Edosa Adams Idode. All of the recordings from the previous sessions are on CAP website. They are being uploaded. You will also see the bios of all of our all of our speakers. Then you can also go get to learn more about all of them. Now, CMP has a lot of events that we do year in, year out. So from time to time, you will see our events published. And you also see our events calendars. Coming up on Sunday, like we don't even take a break after the week-long event. On Sunday, March 15th, we have Ms. Funke Eyitayo take us through getting to maximize our 2026 tax refund. Tax is a subject that changes year after year. Regulations change. You're always wondering, how can I take advantage? How can I get more money? You know, you get so offended when it's almost like you're guaranteed to expect a refund. So when you don't get a refund, or not to talk of getting a big refund, you get upset. Sometimes we just don't, well, we don't know what we should take advantage of, whatever programs are available for us to take advantage of. So maximizing your 2026 refund is a very good event to attend. Please take advantage of this event. CAP Language School is one of the programs that we also have available to our members. Right now, we have languages in Igbo, French, Yoruba, and Mandarin. If you look at the chat, you will also see the CAP website has been shared, so that you can go in there and have a look. It's a very detailed website that has lots of resources to reflect on. Language is one of the ways that we retain our culture and traditions. So a lot of people in diaspora either do not know how to speak their language, or even though they know how to speak their language, they have not been successful in transferring the language to their dependents. So this language school is an opportunity to do that. And I don't think there's an age limit to these classes, right, Lady Yaba? Are you there?
It is open to everybody.
Exactly. It's open to everybody. So if I want to say I want to learn Mandarin, I can enroll. If I want to learn French, even if my son can speak French, I can take on the class, and a good thing I have someone I can practice with at home. So the languages these 4 languages are available. Now, if you like to also have your language, learned, you're competent in training in a language, please reach out to CAP and we'll see how we can also get you on board. We're still accepting essays till March 31st. It is in collaboration with Pure Gold, United Colors of Fashion, and also the Young Leaders Mentorship Program. We have an in-person event May 9th, which will happen in St. John's, right, Miss Lady Abba?
Yes, St. John, New Brunswick.
Yeah, St. John's, New Brunswick. Black History event this is our annual essay writing competition. One of the amazing things this year under the flagship of the Council of African Professionals is that we do have 3 categories. So, and they're all grouped into ages. So group A is age group 15 to 18, group B 19 to 24 years, group C 25 to 30 years. I know I'm not in that age group, but we may know people who are in this age groups, and it's good for them to take advantage of it. And there's money to be won too. So in Milton, we have the in-person event holding in June, on June 20th as well. Same thing replicated, just 2 different locations. So the Black History event and essay writing competition is a celebration of youth and culture. We will have a keynote speaker, Ms. Nosa Errol Brown, who is the Deputy Minister. She will be there giving the keynote speech. Then we also have a guest speaker, Olalekan Oluwabunmi. So like I mentioned, if you go to CAP website, you'll be able to see more of this on there. So we have the CAP mentoring cohort UNO coming up soon. So do stay tuned. You can send us an email. Stay tuned if you want to learn more about it. If you are interested in being a mentor, we're always looking for mentors, because sometimes we don't know where the mentees will come from. And if we have a good range of potential mentors, we'll be able to match mentees to those mentors and build our community. I'd like to invite Lady Abba to take the business in spotlight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mishilea. And I actually want to start by appreciating our youth for supporting us with the land acknowledgement and technical. We're super, super proud of you. Thank you, guys. So, every nonprofit, we need support, and we thank the small businesses for helping us to keep our lights on. Next slide. So we talked about taxes. If you've not done your taxes and you're thinking, who can I reach out to? Reach out to SDA Business Solutions, Inc. Their phone number 289-670-1920. They can do your taxes. They can do business incorporation, bookkeeping, and so on and so on. Next. Pixel, are you looking to get, those beautiful pictures? Are you celebrating a milestone? Is it for business? Pixel is your guy. Pixel, that's their IG handle. Insurance, Tomilolo Ogundipe is an independent insurance advisor. I believe that everyone needs insurance. Reach out to her, let her tell you which one will be beneficial to you, but everyone needs insurance. I always say that you're transferring your risk by being insured. Next, please. Unique designs. Are you looking for premium gifts for birthdays? They have towels. It's a clothing company. They have towels. They have bed sheets, lingeries, house coats. So reach out to them. Their website is right there. If you're looking for premium quality products that your friends and families will actually use. Next. That's my book, Authenticity, How My Whammy Moment Shaped My Life. We all have stories. This is a book that has stories of, a number of people. It's always good to learn from other people's experience. It's on Amazon. Next. Are you looking to create your website? Amazing Minds. Shade at amazingminds.ca is there to support you with any budget. Reach out to her so that you can promote your businesses. Next. What can we do without the power of prayer, right? There you go. Thank God for Archbishop Professor Williams for supporting us from Archeon Days International Church. Next. And this is my digital studio. I support women, youths, new immigrants. If you're looking for, any type of support, you wanna know how people have been doing things or how to land and thrive, check the digital studio out. Next. And so we do have supporters that have supported us over the years, and we also want them to continue to support. And so we do a shout out to them. So BPTN, RBC Royal Bank, Canadian Race Relations Foundations. Also, we have nonprofit charitable organizations that do what we do, and we want to thank them for always being there for us. Alliance Creative Community, headed by His Royal Highness King Nanayo Samwan, African Caribbean Council of Alton. Grandmother's Voices is an indigenous organization. Seas Center is a Chinese organization. The Care Foundation, they take care of caregivers. Black Business Edmonton, United Colors of Fashion, New Brunswick, Akau, Ottawa, and Naira. We thank every one of you for always showing up for us. Yes, we want you to mark your calendars. Council of African Professionals, formerly Council of Nigerian Professionals, have two main events. One is the one happening in June and May, and the second one is Power of Inclusion that we now call the Platform Canada. One, if you know anybody that is, there is a speaker that has, we're looking for speakers. We call it voices that shape change. If you know anybody that is interested in speaking, let them email us. Our email is in the chat. And also, we have a lot of people doing amazing things in the community. And most of the job they do, whether we like it or not, is a thankless job. But at CAP, we want to recognize people for keeping the community going. Thank you. And so we have various categories that we have to recognize them. So if you know anyone that you like to nominate, all these things are already out. The nomination form is out. We will post it also in the chat. Please reach out to us. Nominate a friend, nominate a colleague, nominate a volunteer, so that we'll continue to encourage them. And also maybe we'll encourage people that are not doing so much to do a little bit more. Thank you. And that event is happening December 11th and 12th, 2026. Our contact is already posted. That's our website, our email and newsletter. Because we're literally just changing to CAP, the website is not as robust as it used to be, but some information are there. All the videos that we've been recording, you can see it on our YouTube. Our handle is cmpNGO on YouTube. And our newsletter always has all the information, activities, events that are upcoming, that we're having. So please subscribe so that you are aware of what's coming from our stables. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Yimeshleya.
Thank you, Lady Abba. So, I will just a second. Okay, so now on to the main event. I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Ms. Oluwabunmi Bosede. She's a dual qualified lawyer licensed in Nigeria and Ontario, Canada. She has over 18 years experience in law and public service. She currently works with the Immigration Refugee Board of Canada as a board member. Ms. Oluwabunmi has established a strong reputation for her commitment to community service and youth empowerment. She actively mentors foreign trained lawyers and students at law, and she collaborates with organizations that provide guidance and opportunities for young people within the community. She's the founder of the Lifting Stripes Initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to youth mentorship, development and empowerment, and also personal development. In addition, she serves as vice chair of the Catholic School Council at Bishop Ryan Catholic Secondary School in Hamilton, Ontario. Ms. Oluwabunmi is passionate about community building. Thank you, Ms. Bumi.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So, we're going to start off the conversation with getting to know a lot more about you. I know that the bio that I just delivered is just the tip of the iceberg. Tell us everything, anything that you'd like us to know about you.
Okay, so when you say everything, I was thinking if we start to talk about everything, then we might not leave here today. Good evening, everyone, and happy International Women's Month. I declare March as International Women's Month because I feel we need to be celebrated more often than we are. And on a lighter note, somebody was making a comment recently and saying that women everywhere, March you're celebrating women, then in May you now have Mother's Day, then what happens to the dads? And I responded to the person and I said, let the dads do half of what we women do, then we can then consider giving them 2 months in a year to celebrate. So good evening, everyone. My name is Bumi Bosede. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm a sister, and I am a community personnel. I'll put it that way. I studied law in Nigeria, got called to the bar in Nigeria, and then started my career working with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Nigeria. And I did that for about a decade or so before I moved to Canada. And I came into Canada, and then interestingly, I remember that year when I was trying to decide on what to do. Do I still go ahead with law, or do I kind of think of something else? And I asked a question. The first church I went to when I came in, I saw an individual was a lawyer back in Nigeria. I wasn't practicing in Canada, but I said, please, sir, how long do you think it would take for me to become a lawyer? Well, now that I'm here. And the person responded and said, maybe between 8 and 10 years. And for me, it was like, oh, okay, maybe I should then reconsider. But somehow God just kept, putting me in the right place and connecting me with the right individual. And I think in about 2 years, I got called to bar. I did my master's. I did postgraduate in human resources. So I just spent the first 2 years of my life just, giving it my best. And, they say that you only miss that opportunity that you are not ready for. So I kept improving myself and getting myself ready for that opportunity, waiting for it to come. And eventually I got called to bar, started my practice, and subsequently I now work for the federal government. Personally, in my personal space, I love community. And this I have been doing even before coming to Canada. So when I got to Canada, I was actually searching for organizations that I could kind of collaborate with, be a part of, give back to my community, and see how I can probably be useful. I'm a little bit restless. I don't like to be indoors too much. My family always complain that every weekend I have one event or the other, and sometimes I have 4 events in a day. So I got to get involved in various Nigerian communities, and I did volunteer in various capacities. And while I was doing that, I noticed something. And what I noticed that the youth were kind of left out in all of what we were doing. We had a lot of small businesses, organizations that supported small businesses, organizations that supported women and the likes, but I noticed that we had very few organizations that kind of concentrated on the kids. And as immigrants, we come in and we come with a lot of, inspiration. We come in with a lot of struggles as well, trying to get our feet into the door and get used to the environment. A lot of issues we're dealing with, and we forget that the kids too are kind of going through the same things we're going through. And by the time we realize some things are just not aligning anymore. So I took interest and passion with the kids, and I started then, just before COVID, I would do information sessions online regarding different topics that had to do with the kids. And then during COVID, I started doing it more frequently. And about 2 years ago, I'd reached out to an individual to help another organization plan an event. And the individual then said to me, "You can't be doing this. You do this passionately. So why don't you just take it on?" And I'm like, "No, I like to support people, but not put myself out there." And after having that conversation with that individual, then my husband was somewhere listening. And then after that conversation, he said the same thing to me. And that was how Lifting Stripes initiative was battered. And since then, we've been driving youth initiatives, programs, creating awareness information session. We have a monthly information session every month online where we talk about different topics that have to do with the kids, particularly our youth, our teenagers. And I do have a group of youths that I work with. So they go into the field, they come back with topics that they feel that we parents need to get involved in, and we have very robust kind of conversations. Last year, we took a bold step. We had our first LSI Scholarship and Awards Gala. We gave a scholarship to about 5 different students in post-secondary school, different career paths. Then we had 4 different awards, and there were monetary awards as well, to volunteerism, community involvement, which I think is one area that we lack. As I'm Nigerian, so I will speak to my culture. I think we lack having to push our kids out there. We're not doing enough with that. So we try to encourage children or young adults, teenagers to get out there, get involved within their community. So yes, LSI is a passion, is my baby, my last born, and I take it very passionately. This year we're planning our gala, second gala. It's July 31st. So this is us extending our invitation, and we'll do that also formally very soon. We would love to have you come in and also have some youths from CAP also join us. Last year we had over 120 people join us. Our mayor was there, community leaders here in Hamilton, and we had quite a few, about 60 youths coming, which for us was one of our goals, which we were happy we were able to achieve that. Yes, aside from that, like I said, I'm Nigerian, I'm a mom, a wife. I love my family, and I do my best just to give back to my community. I hope I haven't spoken too much.
Oh, wow.
But that's me in a very nutshell.
In a nutshell. Wow, you are indeed unshakable. You're built to be unshakable. Thank you so much for giving us that, I think, a good overview of who you are. And it's easy to see your passion. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts on today's topic as well. So before we dive into the topic of today, I'd like to encourage everyone, limit distractions, participate, share your comments in the chat as the conversation is going on, ask questions. That's how we can make this discussion more engaging, because your questions or insights will, add more quality to the insights for everyone to benefit. So now the topic, unshakable, women, worth, and well-being in a pressured world. Can you tell us what your thoughts are around this topic?
Okay, so there are kind of different handful of phrases that if we kind of put them all together, they're kind of intertwined somehow. Women, pressured world, unshakable. I think it speaks to who we are as a woman, how we're built, our resilience, because an average woman is that. An average woman is that individual that keeps giving and giving and giving and giving, and sometimes we don't even know when to stop. Take a break and just a breather and be like, okay, I also think I need to think of myself. So for me, I think the topic in itself is all-rounder of who we are as a woman, and sometimes us getting carried away and not realizing that we cannot give what we do not have, and we cannot also give our best when we are giving from a place of hurt, from a place of discouragement, from a place of tiredness, from a place of doubt. And these are things that we go through as women. Social media is telling us who we should be. Sometimes our culture is trying to navigate a certain path for us. And sometimes even the family, even the church, even the community. So we always have to then, like for me this year, when I saw the questions, I kind of smiled because it kind of resonated in different ways, because I've had some conversations with very close friends and family members this year of my motto this year. Like, it's just assessment, right? I said assessment, and the person was asking me what I meant by assessment. And I said, for me, I think for every decision I'm going to make this year, every step I'm going to take this year, every engagement I'm going to be a part of this year, I'm going to first stop and assess. And I'm assessing what is in this for me. How does it benefit me? How does it make me a better person? How does the outcome become advantageous to me? Those are the things that I want to do this year. I'm not just going to jump at everything because I have to jump at everything, but I want to sit down, I want to evaluate, I want to assess, and then I want to then make an informed decision on, do I want to do this? And if I want to do it, why do I want to do it? And what is the benefit for me before I do it? So I hope I didn't speak too
Yeah,
much.
and hearing you say that, is that value proposition, what you're spending your time on, what is the value that is bringing to you? Because I know sometimes when you hear stories, you can see some women come from a place of resentment because of sacrifices that they have made. And because of the perception of I've given all of this, I'm expecting this back, the value they're expecting back because of what they've given.
Yeah.
And when they're not getting it, there's now resentment that is built. And when you mentioned, being able to, really like feel and how you express that, if you're not in a state of mind that is at ease, you will lash out.
Yeah.
You will be snapping. And there's something I say, pepper body. You'll just, you just be having it. And sometimes you don't address that root cause.
Yeah.
It will linger and it can rob you of relationships, rob you of who you are, your identity. So I like that you kicked off this from all of that angle, because it builds very neatly into the question I have for you, which is centered around self-leadership in a pressured world. How do you lead or serve others without abandoning yourself?
How do you lead others without abandoning yourself? Back to my motto for this year: assess, evaluate. You are looking at, I want to lead. Like I kind of see the names of some of us on this event, on this group right now, and I know some people personally. I know there are people that are passionate about the community, and I see them. Some might not know me, but I see them. And sometimes you see people and you appreciate and also admire the strength, their being able to always be there. I would pick Lady Abba as an example for me. I think there was a time I asked her and I said to her, like, you're always at this community event, like, how do you do it, right? And she's like, volunteerism is me. This is what I love to do, right? And the fact that she had made that comment to me, in as much as I admire her strength so much, how she's able to show up for everybody, it will be unfair to me if I now decide to be Lady Abba. Because the truth is, my situation and condition with every area of my life might be different from hers. So if I'm just going to be riding on the fact that I see her everywhere, then I take that and run with it. Then I am creating a mirage to other people that are also looking at me as a leader, right? So I think assessing your individual circumstances, your personality, what you're dealing with as a person, I think that is very key to self-leadership. And like we all agree, the world we are in today is, I'll use the word interesting, because we kind of have a lot of opinions flying out there. You open social media today and someone is telling you what to put on, someone telling you what to eat, someone is telling you how to talk, how to speak. And if we are not careful, we get carried away with things like that. So for me personally, I think self-leadership in itself is you assessing yourself, assessing your situation, your circumstances, before jumping in at anything. And like I said earlier, you cannot give what you do not have. So in as much as you want to lead, you want to give back, you want to be there for everyone, you also have to think about yourself. Like, are you up to it mentally? Are you taking care of yourself in your mental capacity? Are you taking care of yourself physically, emotionally? Are you in the right space to be able to lead and to lead effectively? Because it's also not only about leading, you also want to be an effective leader where you're leading and people are able to get motivation from your style of leading, from what you're doing, for how you're giving back to the community. So for me, everything this year, assessment.
Wow. I like how you wrap all of that, because leadership, most times people think either title or people following. But that self-leadership is you directing your own self, directing your path. And it comes from assessing, really. You assess it. When you assess it, you kind of will see, what do I need? What actions do I need today? And what is my destination? Who can I get inspiration from? Oh, Lady Abba is always, most times I'm like, Lady Abba, when do you rest? Right? So and she shows up every time, 100%.
Yep.
So we can reach out to people like that to find out, what are you doing? Even hearing you describe all of what you do, I'm like, whoa. There are lots of people you can reach out to see, because sometimes in order for us to really even come into our self-leadership, we have to learn, we have to understudy people who we see as leaders in the community. And that way we will learn how not to abandon ourselves as well. Because no matter how amazing of a leader someone is, there are lessons that they've learned, there are mistakes that they've made that they can. And that's why mentorship is very key, because they'll be able to tell you, oh, this is what I learned earlier on, mistakes I've made. You don't have to go through that path. So yeah, I'm really glad that you are talking about this through this angle, because it really helps us to think deeper into because we have a responsibility when it comes to not abandoning ourselves, and also leading ourselves with purpose. So that comes to burnout recovery. You cannot be everywhere without the risk of burnout. So how do you, everybody wants success, but we want sustainable success.
Yep.
So how can women rebuild momentum after a breakdown, setback, or season of exhaustion?
So for me, I would say, first thing is, we all have to understand that sometimes burnout is part of life. As a woman, particularly because the way God has created us, there's 100% chance that it will get to a point where we burn out, when we are exhausted, when we're tired, when we feel that, you know what, I can't do this today. And it's okay. It only makes us human. It only makes us that realization of, okay, I think I need to take a step back and then assess again. So I think for us as women, I think the first thing is, you are understanding the fact that it is okay sometimes to take a pause. Burnout is normal, particularly for people that are really involved in community. I can speak to that. I know that there are times that you're just tired and you just want to be like, you just want to shut down, which is okay to feel that way. As women, we're thinking of, you're thinking of your job, you're thinking of the kids, you're thinking of your parents, you're a friend to someone that needs you to probably be their confidant, and just a lot of burden going on at different times of our lives. I think one thing we have to learn to do is to take a step back. And it is not bad taking a step back. It is not bad saying no. It is not wrong for you to let people know that, you know what, I don't think I'm up to it today. Sometimes we feel that we need to always show up. And that is why, like you had mentioned earlier, sometimes it gets to a point where we're snapping, we are irritated, because we just keep going and going and going and not realizing the fact that we're human and we just need to take that break when our body's telling us, when mentally we're getting to that point where we need to actually take a break. So for us as women, I think to have that sustainable success, we need to learn to take a step back. We need to learn to say no to some things. There are people that would come to me and ask for favors, not because I am not opportune to give those favors at that time, but it might not be a convenient time for me. So I have learned to say no. I have learned that no is not a bad word. No could mean not today. No could mean not at this time right now. And no could also mean, you know what, I don't think I'm up to it at all. And usually would tell my youth that when you get a no, it means moving on to the next person. You don't stop there. Because sometimes, you know, when we get that no's, we just feel discouraged and we feel like, oh my God, somebody just said no to me, so it means it's over. And I say to them, no means moving on. Move on to the next person. And that's why you cannot afford to have one person, you know, in your life as a mentor, as a friend, as a confidant, because that person also sometimes might need that space. So being able to identify, I've heard people say that, oh, I don't have just one mentor. I have various mentors for various things. And sometimes I have 2, 3 of them, because I know that I might reach out to A today and A would tell me, you know what, not today. And I can now have an alternative or opportunity to go to B, because I have more than one mentor that I can speak to in regards to this particular issue. So it's good to have people like that around you, so that, you know, take a breather. That's what I usually say to my youth. Take a breather. If you feel you're being overwhelmed, there's a lot going on in your life, take a breather, take a step back. If you need to leave that environment, leave. If you need to leave that job, you're doing something, you're volunteering in a particular capacity, you're leading something, and you need to take a step back, just do so. I think it's very important when it comes to burnout recovery. Taking that break, then you get back, you're fired, you have the energy, you're ready to go, you know, and sometimes it even helps you mentally. Like, you can think, you come back with more ideas, you come back more resilient, with more strength, you're strong. And I think another thing that I will also mention is having the right people around you. It's very important, because at that time when you're overwhelmed, having the right set of people around you that would kind of hold your hands and sometimes be there to act on your behalf if you don't have the capacity at that time. Someone that you can say, you know what, Bumi, can you please handle this for me? Because I think right now I'm shutting down mentally. And you have reliable people that can take on those challenges and take on those issues, and you can, you know, kind of retreat and have that your me time, I think is important. So having the right people around you as well is one very vital thing that I think we also would help us when we're in that phase of burnout. Burnout would come as humans, but it's how we handle, and also the people that we have around us.
I like how you really talked about how the people around us, because it still highlights what community is, the benefits of network. And so taking the time to know the assets that we have. You can have assets and you don't even know how to use it. So knowing who can I go to for this? You might have a friend who is like, I got your back. Oh, let's go. If if something is wrong, they are there to ready to fight on your behalf. There are situations that you'll be like, hey, if I engage this person, I might be more fired up to go into battle. You know that this is not the friend to engage. They mean well, but for that specific thing, right?
Mhm.
You look for someone else whose thoughts can be more level-headed, but will guide you also in care. I'd like to give an illustration. While you were talking, I remembered many years ago. Sounds like many years ago. But when I moved to Canada in 2016, I came in pregnant. I was eager to get a job before my tummy was, I was too heavy. I wanted to really get into the market. And I think is one pressure also women put on ourselves, right? When we feel like, okay, if I'm pregnant, I'm looking for a job, they're going to be biased against me. So you want to quickly get into the job when you're not showing so much. I was having lots of pains. I wasn't taking real good care of myself in the sense of not resting. My body was screaming, rest, rest, rest. And I was like, oh, let me quickly get this. And then I had a miscarriage.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. So I had a miscarriage. I was broken. And so that breakdown can happen from anything when people go through a breakdown. For me, that broke me. And because I felt kind of responsible, blaming myself, I didn't take care of myself, I didn't rest, and I started losing who I was. I was feeling empty. I was alone with my kids. And I also still wanted to quickly start working. So I was starting a new program with the Newcomer Center of Peel. I went in, so I had the miscarriage like this week, some days after. And I went in and I told the lady who was in the intake agent, and I was telling her, oh, I just had a miscarriage some days ago. And, I'm going to start, but, I just don't know how, when you're kind of in a state of mental breakdown, and my eyes were filled, and she looked at me and she said, hey, you need to take a break. So that's someone that I didn't know who saw that this person needs to be reminded to take a break. It's okay, because I was feeling that I was going to fail myself if I don't do this. It was a 3 months commitment. If I don't do this, they're going to say I'm not serious. I won't get another opportunity, blah, blah, blah. I was giving myself all the reasons why I was not good enough. But the person saw that I was crying for help, and they directed me and they told me, take a break. Almost like being permitted to go take care of me. And by the time I went back 3 months after, I was in a better headspace to even take advantage of what that program offered to me. And today, the many successes that I have in Canada is also thanks to that program. So a lot of times we will have those setbacks in our lives, those seasons of exhaustion. It is looking at the resources that we have around us that will help us to sustain that success that we are seeking to attain.
I agree. And just to, while you were telling your story, I just kind of remembered that I think it has to do with the way we're built culturally. As that we just have to keep going. We have to keep moving. I remember that sometimes last year in my organization, there was an email that was sent out, where they had indicated that we weren't going on our leaves, we weren't taking, the normal leave, and that people were accumulating a lot of, leave days. And I was having a conversation with my fellow Nigerians, and I got to find out that almost everybody in that space had not even taken one day off in the year. Now, taking days off, our conversation was around, okay, so why are you not taking your leave? Why are you not going on leave when you're sick? Let me use that as an example. And we're like, it's just cold now. Maybe it's just headache. It's just kata that I have. Why should I take leave because I have kata or I have headache or, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling stressed. And, that conversation was going around the fact that the way we are built, we don't understand the importance of assessing and knowing when to stop. And we are looking at, until when you break down and you're not able to walk and you're not able to even talk, that is when you're sick. And that is when you need time off. But the community we are in understands that sometimes having a flu itself is enough for you to say, you know what, I want to stay home today and work from home because I don't want to affect other people of whatever I'm going through. So I think also culture is one big thing that kind of also inform us having to realize that burnout is real, and it's good for us to take a step back and then take that break if we need to take the break. And we don't have to be at our 10% before we realize that we need to take that break. So I 100% agree with what you've said.
Exactly. If you look at even your phone battery, if you wait until the battery runs out, you can't even have it on charge and be able to use it. It will shut down and it would just you don't see the battery sign there saying, charging. So we need to really take the time to recharge.
And I agree with you, just to kind of in a lighter mood. So my phone is always sometimes 7% and 6%. And when someone calls me and I need to pick that, I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, my phone is almost dead. I need to, and they're like, you're staying in a country where you have constant lights. So why should your phone be
It's confidence.
7%? And I'm like, it's because I know that if it dies, there will always be life for me to charge it, right? So sometimes we just need to realize that we don't have to wait because things happen. Lights can actually go unexpectedly, and then I don't have the opportunity to charge the phone. So I need to take advantage of the fact that I have constant light and make sure that my phone is always charged. So yes.
Let's talk about mental health, identity, and worth. What role does identity play in how women cope? So if we look at identity in the aspect of culture, faith, community, and upbringing.
I think for mental health in itself is a very important conversation that we don't have enough of it in our community. And of course, we know why. The stigma, there's a lot of understanding of what mental health is. And these days, I think a lot of us have come to the realization that mental health is not what we all see mental health to be, and the importance of mental health. So when, earlier I'd mentioned, culture, how our culture in itself also inform a lot of the ways we act as women. Fortunately and unfortunately, our culture, even the faith, even our community have a lot of role to play in how we are built and how we see ourselves or identify ourselves mentally. Now, for me, I think there are pros and there are cons to it. Pros in the way that it kind of builds our resilience as women. Our resilience in the fact that, that's believe in ourselves and us being able to just keep going. We can do 1 billion things at once. You would see a woman being able to cook, you're doing the homework, you're on the phone with your sister at the same time and, coordinating things. And then you are running to also make sure that laundry is done at the same time. So it kind of helps us with, that resilience as a woman. But I also think that it also puts a lot of burden on us, on expectation that, we are expected to do as a woman. I think a lot of people have talked about it, and we cannot overemphasize how kind of culture in itself had put us in a particular space of what is required of us as a woman. I was watching a video on social media, I think it was sometimes this week, when an individual, a male individual that is meant to be educated, enlightened, a public figure was speaking about the role of a woman. And in this century, the person was still, making reference to us, our roles as being in the kitchen. And I smiled when I saw that video, and I'm like, okay, so the truth of the fact is people still believe that this is what we are and this is where we need to be. So even though we're contributing to the family and every other area of our day-to-day lives, they still see us as women. So for me, I think mental health in itself is very important, and having also to then assess, right? When do you need to take that break? When do you need to see a professional help? And you don't have to, so permit me to use the word as we would refer to it in our culture where we come from. You don't have to be mad, right? Before you consider.
You don't have to be on the streets.
Before you consider that you need help. Sometimes speaking to a professional in every area, right? Every area. I was reading a pamphlet that I saw in my organization's kitchen this week, and they were talking about there's something called the EAP, and their roles and obligations. And I saw where someone, the one of the highlight was, if you're having issues with your kids, call this number. If you're having issues with your spouse, call this number. If you need someone to speak to, call this number. And for me, I just smiled, because sometimes we actually need to call that number. We don't actually to be in that space where we feel, you know what, I'm at my lowest, I can't even handle it anymore, before we decide to seek help professionally. Therapists, have a friend. Sometimes speaking to a friend in itself would make you feel better. Have somebody that you can speak to. So for me, I think because as a woman, there's that belief that we're a little bit lesser than our male counterparts. So it puts a lot of, burden on us. And sometimes as well, we're trying very hard to prove that equality in that space. And then we begin to do more than we can handle. We begin to put so much pressure on ourselves to prove our worth. And it can also have adverse effect on us mentally. So having to identify that, you know what, I think I'm taking too much. I think I need help. I think I need to seek help. And luckily, we're in a community that encourages us seeking help. We have a lot of opportunities, facilities out there that are willing to help us, and probably free. So yes, I think the culture, I think the faith, I think the community that plays a lot of burden on us as women, as our role as mothers, as wife, as caregivers. And it can be sometimes overwhelming, and also identifying when we're overwhelmed and taking opportunities that are around us is very important. I remember when I first came to Canada and I was studying for my bar exams, because I wasn't sleeping well. I was in a program at York University, and I would come back at night and then I'll read all through. So I started having this constant headaches, and it got really bad that I would have to hold my head. So there was this day, my husband said, you know what, let's go to the hospital. We need to see a doctor. I'm not comfortable with the way you're acting. So we went to the hospital, and immediately we got in, I had complained to the doctor, and the doctor said my husband should go out. And I was like, she's my wife. Why are you asking me to go out? The doctor said, I'm not going to say anything until you go out. And my husband looked at me and was like, he wants me to go out. Should I go out? I said, no, he can't go out. It's my husband. The doctor said, no, he has to go out. You're an adult. And you are my patient. So why is he in here? And then when my husband left, the first thing he asked me was, are you okay? Is he touching you? Did he touch you? Did he say anything to you that's making you uncomfortable? And it wasn't about my headache anymore. It was all about my husband. Has he said anything? Has he done anything? Is he abusing you physically, emotionally? And I said, you know, he's fine. Then I had to explain my condition to the doctor to say, I think this is what's going on. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And I think I'm doing too much. Then he said, oh, you need to sleep. I'm going to give you something. You just have to put your books aside and rest and all that. So when we're done and we're going home, so I told my husband, I said, see, this is what the doctor said, though. Are you stopping me mentally? Are you stressing my life? So that now that you know, if you stress, I'll go back to him and tell him. You know, we just laughed over it, but this is reality. It's reality of life. These are things that are happening, and unfortunately, from where we come from, it's a norm. They don't see it as something abnormal. Thank God for social media these days. We see a lot of things, you know, that are going on, and people are able to express themselves right now because they have a channel where people can listen and then offer help. Imagine 10, 15 years ago when there was no Instagram and Facebook and TikTok where people would come out and say, I've just been beaten or things have been happening to me. And that's community as well, you know, where things will happen and they'll still expect you to go and apologize, where things will happen and they will tell you it's the norm. That's how it has been years in memorial. So you just have to accept it. And whether we like it or not, things like that would affect us emotionally and psychologically, and they were thinking, this is just not fair. So yes, having to acknowledge that these things exist and it could happen to any of us, and taking advantage of the resources that are there for us, I think is very important.
I like that you mentioned EAP. So for those who don't know what an EAP is, Employee Assistance Program, a lot of companies will also have it as Employee and Family Assistance Program. So it's a lot of times people still transfer that stigma or mental health to even utilizing the EAP.
Yep.
It is completely confidential. I'm wearing my HR cap right now. It is a confidential resource that is available to you. The company has already paid for it. Go and use it. Now the question, even when I've had challenges, have I used it for myself? No, because we don't go it's easy for us to give support to others, but we don't give that same support to ourselves. So when and a lot of programs or resources are in the EAP that are not just about mental health. There are things there that are resources for even some professional development. There are lots of resources there. So a lot of times when we lose or we don't see the value in ourselves, we don't understand or don't see the value we bring to the table, either because we feel undervalued at work or we feel not much appreciated in within our circles, our homes or friendships. or we're even having some changes that are going on around us. There are lots of tools that are available either through the EAP programs, through your community city website. The city website has so much programs that are there that you can go do. They have like, I know they usually have like events that are open to community. When I used to live in Mississauga, I used to go to Square One. Mississauga had a lot of events like yoga sessions. They had, like music concert, free. There are lots of programs that are available. Utilize them. So these things are things that will help us build our resilience. It will help us kind of, just be outside of our minds, of our heads, because when we're there, we get overwhelmed also by excessively thinking about what we are going through, how unfair the world is. Oh, I was expecting this, I didn't get it, I was promised this. I hold on to promises because I am 100 and plus committed to any promise I make. Is the same weight I give to promises people make to me. So, when we hang on to that and we are disappointed, that can have effect on our mental well-being. So really understanding what are those triggers that can affect us. And I like that we also look at identity under this topic, because if we don't know ourselves, then whatever somebody tells us is who we are. We will accept it. Even if within us, we know that's not true. And then that can eat us up. So if we know ourselves, we're firm in our identity, yes, everybody is a work in progress. But if we know at the bedrock who we are, we'll be able to navigate through life as it happens.
And I like what you said about knowing yourself, because it also would relate to knowing your triggers, knowing what affects you, knowing what takes you out of that calmness and begin to affect you mentally. So I think that's very important. Like for the work that I do, there are times that they would say to you, if you see any foul or you're doing anything you feel will trigger you, let us know. We'll take it away from you. Because there are people that have gone through domestic violence, and then you have a file where this person is claiming protection because of, and you're reliving that experience because you have to reach that person's story and then ask questions that kind of relates to what you have gone through. And that will only kind of open, healed wounds. So for them, they realize things like that does exist. So they will tell you, if you see any trigger, anything that triggers you, that traumatizes you, please let us know. We'll take it away. And we also have to, and I think one thing about us as a community is we have to realize that we're no longer in Nigeria, and begin to conform to what we have, the advantages that are available to us. Because when you tell people, you don't have to do that file if you're going to feel, no, if I don't do it, maybe they'll be upset with me. Maybe they won't promote me. Maybe, my manager will not like me anymore. And then even though it's going to be harmful, you go ahead and do it. I see that a lot within our community. And I say, no, there are laws, there are policies. This is a policy. It doesn't matter whether your manager even likes it or not. Your manager is bound by that policy. She has to follow it. And that's why she's bringing it to your attention. And the same thing with the issue of the leave that I spoke about earlier. People just believe that because in Nigeria, we don't go for leaves. Some people will be on leave and they'll still be working, right? Those are not acceptable. So we just have that mentality that this is how it's done from where we come from. And it also kind of translates to where we are right now. And I try to educate people to say, it's not so. That is why this has been put in black and white. It's for you to use it. It's for you to access it. If you don't access it, then there's no way it would be beneficial to you.
You know, now the world is a global village thanks to the internet. And we have the digital world is just like a click away.
Yep.
So that brings us to digital pressure, social media, and our inner peace. What practices help you detox from constant news, crisis, and emotional overload?
Log off.
Simple, full stop.
It's very easy. Just log off. I remember there was this time, I think it was like 4 years ago, where we had the SARS thing, and we started seeing all those videos of the shooting and everything that was going on social media. I didn't know anybody personally, but I was crying. I was emotionally like shattered because I was like, how can they be killing people? And how can they be doing this? And I was screaming. And I remembered we then used to have a law kind of group where you had lawyers, mentoring, incoming lawyers, and we were a few in that group. We're about 100, and I sent a voicemail. I was crying in that voicemail, and I sent it to the group, and I'm like, this is not fair. Can't we do something? And after that, I started having constant headache. I landed in the ER. My blood pressure had shot up, and these were people that I didn't know. So my husband we got home. He just collected my phone from me. And I didn't see that phone for another 3-4 days. I was begging actually to have access to the phone. So I think these days it can be overwhelming with social media. Like, it's just amazing. I'll put it that way. There are amazing things that you see and you get through social media. But these days, I just feel the pressure is way, way overboard. Like, you're measuring your life to someone else's life. You are measuring your income. You're measuring everything. People are falling into depression because of social media, because Bumi just posted a car that probably she just went to rent and she paid $100 a day to rent the car, and she's returning it in 2 days. And you see that car and you're being, but me just bought a car, and you're upset with yourself. You're just moody. And let me give you a very funny story. So an individual had shared with me and my husband a conflict he was having with someone else, and how he was upset and how he was mad with the person and how it was, and just as we were having that conversation, we're both in different continents. This same person then put up something on social media to say that this individual that was just having that conversation with us sent a gift, and was a beautiful flower bouquet and all this and all that. And somebody saw that and screenshot and sent it to us and said, this person is living the life of look at the life that this person is living, and see me, this man does not even appreciate me. And I showed it to my husband, and I'm like, see what social media will cause, right? So I think logging off, I know people that say they take social media breaks and they just go off social media for some weeks and they don't come on it at all. I think it's important. I think it's something that we have to imbibe. Some of us, it's difficult because of what we do. We have to be on social media. We have to, follow up on accounts and what's going on our, professional profile and all that. But it's important. I've heard people say, instead of Netflix and chill, I Netflix and chill. It's okay to watch TV. And that's another thing that I see people sell. I would say, well, you can't be watching TV. You have to be reading. You have to read a book. It's good. If you love reading books, please go ahead and read books. If I love Netflix, I will watch Netflix and I will lie down on my bed and have fun. Jokingly, somebody was telling, we're having a conversation about traveling, and the person told me jokingly and said, hey, God has created all these countries for us to visit. I now have a Canadian passport. If I don't visit those countries, God will be upset with me because there's no Dubai in heaven. There's no Qatar in heaven. So I have to go to all those places before I die, and we're just laughing about it. But really do what suits you. If you need to go for a spa date, go for a spa date, if that's what makes you happy. But for me, I think going off social media is the best therapy you can have in today's world. Even for the kids, there are times I was share with somebody that when I take my daughter's phone, you will know that something is not adding up in my house, at least for that first day, and I hear it. She's upset, she's angry, she's very everywhere. And I'm like, unfortunately, you will continue to have this behavior because I'm not going to give it to you. So it's either you just accept and look for something else to do with your time. Unfortunately, I'm not giving it to you. So I think for me, I think the simple answer is go off social media. If you need to go off social media, if you think it's getting too much, please go off. And also us remembering that whatever we see on social media is not always the true version of things.
And true, it's not always. And we know too, even if we reflect on our lives too, there are times that we post a picture on our status. We may not be feeling 100%. When we post that picture, we look at a picture, oh, this smile, you're like I always have silly smiles on when I take pictures. You post it. You're not always that 100% of what you post.
Yep.
Right. So having that, looking at things where, okay, someone is sharing a happy tale about their life. Good for them.
Yep.
But using that to measure ourselves, to measure where we are, and using that as a yardstick or a benchmark for where we should be, then it becomes, it's not healthy. It's not. And it's only going to affect us. And sometimes it used to be my practice that if my phone rings, even when I'm sleeping, I always feel somebody can be calling me. I'm their last chance for emergency situation. So I must pick up. And my phone was always on ring outs. But when life started happening to me, my phone is constantly on vibration because the ringing tone used to just give me headache. So thank goodness for even the newer technology. It has a night mode and day mode. So the phone itself, if you let it, it will make it silent that you won't even know that your phone is ringing. So you can actually like take a break at certain times. So really, there's a reason why there's emergency contact information. Take advantage of those. I have a friend that we call 911. That's his code name, 911, because he's someone who has been there for our family. He's someone that we have been able to rely on. And we just say, hey, 911. Then you say, yes, tell me, what's your emergency? Have people that you can rely on. And when you have those pressures, they necessarily will not be there with you all the time. But the digital world allows us to connect with people all around. I have friends in the US. I have friends back home in Nigeria. I have friends also in Canada. They are not living around me. So the digital space allows us to even manage the pressures of life. So it comes with good, it comes with bad. So it's for us to know how to make use of it. Still on digital world, but now shifting towards AI. So if we look at disruption, AI, and thriving through change, what does ethical, human-centered leadership look like in times of disruption for you?
So on a lighter mode, when I saw that question, I just went, I'm not sure if you saw that video. It was going everywhere. Flying Everywhere some couple of weeks back, where we were showing different people, different professions. Then there was this write-up that said, I thought that said AI is coming to take my job. And the woman is making rice in the kitchen. And then she goes to the washing machine and she puts the clothes in that. And I thought
Oh,
they
I
said,
didn't see that video.
no, it was very funny because it was kind of them saying, AI, oh yeah, now I need you in this, this department. Come and do the laundry for me. Come and sweep the floor for me. And people were making jokes of it. AI, amazing. It has saved us a lot of time, a lot of energy, sometimes critical thinking as well, because now everybody goes to AI for almost everything. I remember we were talking about, I mentioned earlier the scholarship thing that we did with LSI last year, and we got some applications that were AI. And you know how you would know it's AI because sometimes there's this kind of signs that, so the individuals did not even take off the sign. So we kind of knew that this was obviously AI and, disqualified the individual. So yes, AI, amazing tool for us as humans, as leaders, helping us in, different areas of our life. But I think as much as AI is available to help, there are things that AI in itself is missing, and that's emotional and empathy. AI cannot provide those. As leaders, as humans, those are areas where we're able to then kind of show our strength. We're able to help within the community, even though we have technology being available for us to help in different areas, to make life easier for us to rely on it. But technology cannot take away empathy. It cannot take away that emotional part of life. As a leader, as we lead, as we give to our community, as we begin to be part of the community, the fact that we're able to identify that we're humans and we're able to help each other when we need to, we're able to show compassion, we're able to show empathy, we're able to be there to hold each other's hands, I think is important along the way as we also then imbibe technology in all that we do. So yes, for me, AI is here to stay. It's a great tool, but it doesn't take away our role as humans and us having to use our emotional intelligence in a nutshell.
And the human-centered leadership takes into account relatability. It takes into account body language.
Yep.
Things that the person is not saying that you can see from, their facial expressions, from how they are, they're either fidgeting or, their disposition.
Yep.
If you're just typing into ChatGPT and you're telling it this and that, it's not going to necessarily, it might say the tone, from your tone.
Yep.
That is, tone can be implied in writing.
Yep.
However, there's so many key cues that the body language will give. And that's where that interfacing really comes in.
Yep.
Recently in my office, we rolled out a HR AI tool, and the whole process of training the AI, oh my world. Well, like sometimes the information is not even fed yet to AI, and AI is just spinning off, giving you things that they're like, where are you getting this from? It's like selling you bull something, right? So AI will not answer all the questions. It will do control find with what's available on the internet, what has been fed to it in its database. But the beautiful thing about human interaction is that we continue to evolve. We evolve from what we learned from those lived experiences, even though it's the first time that something is happening. And that's why you have some laws being made in honor of a bad something that has happened, a bad situation. And you have people who lobby and say, hey, make a law for this so that this never happens again. And through that, you bring it. I think that also speaks to the ethics side of things as well. So really like reasoning through things and all of that is what will help us navigate through those changes that happen. We'll continue to see new changes. The way technology is evolving on the day.
Yep.
iPhone 17 came out. Another one I'll be receiving alert. iPhone 17, is it E or what? I'm like, well, I'm not even rested on this iPhone 17, and another one is coming out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
technology is evolving. There are new things. AI will keep
It's here to stay.
I know that I use X a lot. So, and most times when if I see anything on in the threads, I just look at the comments to see. I know somebody would have asked at Grok, is this real? I always like to go and read those things. Only since yesterday, I see Grok does not answer again. It will say, this is only available to premium subscribers.
Really?
Yeah. So yes, we're used to relying on AI to tell us if something is factual, if it's real, this video, is it deep fake or it's not. We'll get to a point where even though those things are available, we may not be able to assess them.
Yep.
So we need to be able to connect with the people within our network and give and share from each other as well.
I agree. And that's where reliability comes in, right? When you begin to, now the system has noticed that there are a lot of people relying on them for that information. So now for you to get that information, because it's important to you to rely on me, then you have to pay a premium for it. So that's what it would do to us as humans. So having that consciousness and that emotional intelligence of, yes, AI is here to stay, but there's also a role that us as human play in all of this. I remember my mom, she's in her 70s, and she would argue with me on some issues, and I would say, Mom, where did you even get this information from? I'm telling you, it's not true. She said, Mom, she would say, Omi, who want to be Facebook? And sorry for those that don't understand Yoruba, she's like, it's on Facebook. And I'm like, I'm telling you, me, your daughter, I'm telling you that this is not true. And you're telling me that it's on Facebook. Who put it on Facebook? She said, no, that they said it on Facebook. And like 2 or 3 people have even had a conversation around it. And that is, and I'm like, Mom, something like, okay, I don't want to argue with you, but I know it's on Facebook. And she's so like sure of what she's saying that sometimes I'm even doubting myself as in, okay, am I actually right? And that is the power of technology. So AI is here to stay, but for me, I try not to, I'm not excellent with social media, and I know that it can be time consuming. So I try to maintain one lane. I don't do Facebook, I don't do Twitter. I really go on LinkedIn because I notice I only have Instagram. And when I'm on Instagram, sometimes I'm there for an hour, and it's just like 5 minutes in my understanding. And when I look at my clock, I see that, oh my God, I've been here for 1 hour. So imagine if I then go back to LinkedIn, then I stop by at TikTok, and then I stop by at Twitter, then I won't do anything in a day. So I try very hard to control myself with all this technology out there. But yes, it's here to stay. It's going to keep evolving, but it's very important human intelligence, the importance of us interacting just, like we are doing today. I've heard people would go to ChatGPT to ask about diagnosis. And I've asked, people say they go to ChatGPT when they have breakups on what to do. Like, I'm like, oh my God. So really, we have to be conscious. If not, that thing is cropping in, even to our youth these days, isolation. You have kids in their room and they don't even want to come out of the room 24 hours a day because they're on their gadgets, on the phone, on one app or the other. So it's important that us interacting as humans is one thing we continue to pursue.
Wow, what a day packed with heavy discussion. What is one habit that you will start or stop to reduce pressure and restore stability?
So for me this year, I'd said earlier on that for me, I'd said accessing situation, facts, my environment, my surrounding, my decision is one thing that I have held on to this year so far, and it has really worked for me. I also have said to myself, so I know and I think it's important for all of us as individuals to know yourself, know who you are, know your weaknesses, know your strength. So for me personally as Bumi, I love people. I want to be sure everybody is fine. I want to be sure that everybody has eaten, everybody's week went well. And sometimes it takes a toll on me as an individual because I'm doing everything and I'm leaving myself out. So one thing I have decided this year for myself was I'm going to meet people where they are. I wouldn't go searching. And that doesn't mean we wouldn't have exceptions to that my rule. There definitely will be times when I will have to go search, depending on, again, when I access the situation and I feel that it needs me to do so. But I'm not going to make it my default of going to search. If you need me, I am here. I would respond. I'll pick your call. I will be there for you, but I will not go and start looking for you if you need me. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but sometimes when you keep, pushing yourself and you're going above your limits, then it begins to tell on you as a human, as an individual. And you had mentioned something earlier where you say that, you're giving, and you're expecting something back in return. And as human beings, sometimes that's who we are, right? I have done something good to you, so I expect you to be good to me too. But the reality of it is that it's not always that way. So in order not to feel that hurt, then it's good for you to assess. And then, like I said, personally, I just want to be where you are. If you need me, you call on me, I would come. If you need my help, definitely I'll be there if it's within my capacity, but I'm not going to go and start looking deep into so that I also do not burn out and overstretch myself. And I think another thing for me this year that I also have decided to do is know when to step back, know when to step up, and know when to retreat. I think for me, those three words are kind of helping me to be self-aware. I just go by, and I pray for the discernment. I think discernment is one great tool that will help us as human. When you're able to discern, do I need to go? Do I need to not go? So with that, I'm able to know, what, I want to step into the situation and see how I can help, or I just want to, step back. Yeah, so for me, those are things that I want to stop and things that I think I'm going to continue to do this year. And I pray I stick to it and I don't fall by, by the mid-year.
I like that you said you let people ask for help if they need it. Because there have been instances where people go like, I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for your help. Right? And you'll be like, oh my God, I'm looking out for you. Oh, right? And then you're wondering, I mean well for this person, but they're not, taking the help that I'm rendering. So allowing people to ask for help is also a good thing because because when we're always rushing to rescue people, we're also robbing them of the opportunity to self-lead. We're robbing them of the opportunity to, try things themselves to see if it's going to work or learn from it.
Yep.
So it's, when we, to kind of take that step back, it will really help us. There's something I do a lot for people, and it's also from the feedback that I've heard, is that I make excuses for people a lot. But it's so weird that I don't make excuse for myself. So I want to be able to make excuse for myself. I want to give myself a chance. We want people to take a bet on us.
Yep.
Without us being able to take a bet on ourselves, to invest in ourselves, why do we now expect other people to do that for us? So with that, I would like to open up the floor to see if anybody wants to join the conversation. Please. Lady Abba.
We have others here. Do we have anyone that would like to comment or maybe ask questions?
Yes. Any questions, any comments? We've talked about several, things. We've talked about mental health. We've talked about navigating those burnouts, sustaining success, being able to, advocate for ourselves as well. Please feel free.
I was gonna call my twin sister, but I said that she already. Oh, Oluwabunmi, please go ahead.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I didn't want to say anything. I just dropped the comment there. But okay, Queen Mother has called me, and I have to answer. Yeah, so it's really been an amazing session. Just hearing everything that you said, some I can resonate with as well. Especially the importance of mental health and just navigating through life. So it's just been really great conversations, and I think what you said about I don't know who said that. What you said about kind of sieving what you feed yourself with online. It's very important, and trust me, I'm the queen of watching movies, and sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I'm not doing anything today. It could be on a Monday because so I'm someone that works like I could work anytime. I could be awake at 12 a.m. and I'm working. So depending on how my body feels, on a Monday afternoon, I could actually be sleeping, or saying that, what, I feel so tired. I just want to see a movie. I don't want to think about anything. And it does work, it does work, so I think that's something that is very important. I know that we're all, we're all striving to be better. We're all working hard. We all want to be a better version of ourselves. We want to aspire to perspire and all of that. We're doing so much. We want to read books, but sometimes it's good to just take a pause and breathe, and enjoying the fine things of life around us. Like you mentioned, go for a massage, just, travel around the world, just enjoy yourself in the midst of, all the very, very busy life that you're living and thinking about every other person except yourself. So, yeah, that's something. And, there's so many benefits when you're talking about employee assisted program. You find out that sometimes even organizations have all these things in place, but you're not even benefiting from it. So like last year, for example, like my insurance required me, I had a budget for like spa, going to the spa, getting massages, and I didn't even use it at all. You know, so and then you look back and you're like, but it was even there for you to use, and you know, it's just there. So
Or you
you know,
wait to the end of the year, the last December, and there are no appointments available. Everybody's waiting.
Yes.
I know, right. So just making that conscious effort, just the way we're scheduling meetings and all those things. You can also just add these things to our schedule, you know, so that we don't forget, because you know you tend to forget in booking these things. So just booking them ahead, and then you just get reminders on these things. So yeah, really amazing conversation, really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Olasumbumi.
For me, yes.
Thank you
I
for
just wanted
adding
to,
your voice.
sorry, I just wanted to say something, just what Shubumi just said now. So I remember there was this day that I was doing errands with my daughter. She's going to be 15 in a couple of days. And people had called me from back home asking for money and all that. And I entered the nail salon, and I wanted to do my nails, and I remembered I needed to send, you know, so I came out, and my daughter asked and said, "Mom, why are you not doing your nails? I thought you wanted to do." I'm like, "No, the important things I want to do with money." Da, da, da. She was like, "It's just $45, and it's for yourself." And I said, "No." And immediately I got to the door, that thing just said to me that, what are you teaching this child to prioritize every other person, you know, above herself? So I came back in and I sat down and I did her nails, because I needed to teach her, right, that it's important that you are important as well. So I just wanted to put that out there when we were talking about, you know, the massage thing and all that.
Thank you. And I see a comment here from, I'm guessing, Lady Abba. We need to unburden consciously.
Yes.
We need to be intentional about, you know, letting go of things. There's another comment here that says we have to intentionally unlearn certain things, which is why this conversation is important. The news, always negative news, could be a negative trigger as well. You can also sign up to, there's some reels that, you know, showcase funny videos of cats, of animals just doing funny things, babies laughing. You know, those can also, you know, inject into you happy hormones that will help you deal with the day as well as it happens. So any other person would like to take? Yes, who? Feel free. Anybody else? Anybody? Somebody?
I guess silence means it's as clear as mud, right? You know, I just wanted to add a few things. You said there's a lot of pressure. The question I have for every one of us is, who is putting the pressure? Right? We're the ones putting the pressure.
Yep.
So it's important for us to unpressure. If there's such a word as that. You know, social media is beautiful. It is beautiful. But somebody, like, I guess it comes with age. I reset my password all the time because I forget. I don't go there. I can't remember the last time I went to Facebook. If you see me on social media, maybe I'm on CAP, right? Anything CAP, I'm there. But personally, I don't remember. I can't remember the last time I went to X, DNA. I don't even know my password. But I go to IG, I go to YouTube because I post videos on YouTube. You know, and of course, being professional, I'm on LinkedIn once in a while, but we have to know ourselves. You said that a lot. And oh yes, I do want to say thank you so much for accessing to join us. So, Madam Oluwabunmi, because your year is all about assessment.
Assessment.
You assess us and you join us, and we appreciate it.
She knew she was going to bring value to this table.
Yeah,
Kind
right.
of assessment, so we have to assess.
Absolutely. But thank you.
Oluwabunmi, you had your hands raised up earlier. So I don't know if you had something more to add.
No, it's fine. When Lydia was talking, something just crossed my mind, and I'm like, okay, so let me just say, so also for people that are like, on the job that they do, they have to be on social media. Now they're like, a lot of professions, social media managers, marketing people and all of that. But I guess it's just finding that balance. So I'm someone that, I don't think I'm someone that can just log off my social media, because also I run like a marketing consulting agency as well. I have my non-for-profit, and I'm monitoring activities. But I think it's just finding that balance where you are in control of the things that you see.
Yep.
And you find out that whatever you engage with is what you keep seeing on your feed.
Yep.
So so each time I see something funny or something interesting, I have like my sisters and my friends that we send it to each other, and then we just talk about it, and we could get on the phone and we're just talking for like 30 minutes and laughing, and at the end of that conversation you just feel good. So just being aware of that, and knowing that whatever it is that you interact with is what you keep seeing on your feed. And that just ties into what Lady Eba put in the chat box, that we have to intentionally unlearn certain things. So you have to intentionally also decide what you want to feed your mind with. Yeah. Thank you.
See, I'm glad that we didn't just take your putting down your hands, for it, and we called you out soon because you still had more to share. Thank you again. So we've come to the end of today's event. Tomorrow is another one. It's the final for the week-long International Women's Celebration. So with that, I would like to invite Lady Aba to say a thank you remark and close today's event.
Yes. It is my honor to thank everybody, especially you, Oluwabunmi Bosede. I don't know why I do Oluwabunmi Bosede. It's truly a pleasure to have you. Thank you for sharing your insights, your perspective. Very, very real, very, very different, very, very fresh. But all through the week, we've actually heard some things that have been resonating, like taking care of yourself, going into therapy if you must, knowing your capacity, know when to say no. Log off social media, and of course, if you're working with social media, you cannot log off, because when we go to work too, it's like we're on stage, right? Mm-hmm. So when we get home, we kind of mask off, right? So thank you for sharing. And one of our speakers, I'm sure she's still here, Bayode Simpson. She was she spoke the second day, and the person speaking tomorrow just left, Edosa. Thank you again. I mean, it's been a wonderful time sharing. And I just want to put a caveat out there. Just because we're talking about this does not mean women will not be women. It's because we're too much of a woman or woman that we're talking about this, because we don't take care of ourselves. We want us to take care of ourselves, because you cannot pour from an empty vessel. You can only give from what you have. So thank you so much for opening our eyes in a different way, for us to continue to prioritize ourselves and showing the right examples for our children, because whether we like it or not, it is not a matter of do as I say. It is actually a matter of do as I do. So thank you very much for your perspective. We appreciate it. To Daniel Meshilea, thank you so much for hankering, for being in the hot seat. Truly appreciate your support, and looking forward to more of that. And to our youth, I have to say it again, really, really love you showing up for us, coming every time we call you, whether you're helping us with technology or you're reading the land acknowledgement. We really thank you both. Thank you so much. And to everybody that joined, and especially those that participated, we thank you so much. I am very sure you've gained one thing or the other, because I gain every time. You will see me, you know, when people do parties, you will not see me. But when you see something like this, I am joining. And if it is events in person, I will go because I prefer going to in-person event than sitting on social media. But then again, we all know when we unwind. You talked about watching Netflix. I love watching Netflix and YouTube. That is, I'll put my feet on the table and I watch, and I'm in a different world because I've done so much. I need to be able to breathe. So if Netflix is your thing, if whatever it is that is your thing, but you know there has to be always a balance. But thank you all again. Have gained. I don't know. Did you want to say something else?
No, for me, no. No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was a beautiful conversation that we have to keep having over and over again because, like you said, as women, we need to keep reminding ourselves the importance of topics like this. So thank you for having me.
Thank you all again and have a fantastic evening. Join us tomorrow for the last session at 7 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.